Let's take a look at a logarithmic graph question from Cambridge. We need to sketch y equal to ln x. I have listed out the key features over here. Now for logarithmic graph, remember that asymptote is the opposite of exponential. Exponential, we have horizontal asymptote, and for logarithmic graph, we'll have vertical asymptote. And how do we know how to find a vertical asymptote? Very simple. You already know that we cannot take logarithm of 0 or negative. So to find the asymptote, we equate this one here to 0, okay? So we equate to 0 to find the asymptote for this graph. So for this one here, very simple, just x equals to 0. So that's the asymptote. Second, if I have a logarithmic graph, I have a tendency to find x-intercept first, but it doesn't matter if you want to find y-intercept first. Now let me just find x-intercept first. For this one here, we have to equate y to 0. So let me do that. So I'll have 0 equals ln x. Taking e both sides, I'll have e0 equals to x. So x is equals to 1. So I have x-intercept at 1. And the last one here, to find y-intercept, we equate x to 0. Now what happened is that we already know that we cannot take 0 for logarithmic graph. So I'm just going to tell myself that since x can't take 0, no y-intercept. Okay, so now that I have known the key features, let me put a graph over here. And since this is a not application question, we do not know whether we have positive or negative answer. I'm just going to draw horizontal and vertical line nicely to positive region and negative region both. And let's take a look at this graph here now. So I know the asymptote is going to be x equals 0. In other words, is this y-axis here. This is where x equals 0 is. I do not have to add the dotted line because this is actually my y-axis. Now let's take a look at the second one. We have x-intercept equals to 1. That's this point over here. 1. Now what happened is that if you do not know how to sketch this, just test value on the left and on the right of this number 1. So I'm going to choose 0.5 and 1.5. Let's see what happened. So if I'm going to test 0.5 and 1.5, for the y value, I insert to this x position, I take ln, okay? So we take ln 0.5, click calculator, ln 1.5, click calculator. So let me write down the value here from my calculator. It's negative 0.693. The other one, 0.405. Now let's take a look at this one here. So 0.5 is negative, so somewhere here. So let me just put a small dot here. And 1.5 is going to be positive. And if you realize about the value, this is lower, this is not so high, so it's roughly here. And if you understand the feature of logarithmic graph, it's going to be bending this way, where the gradient decreases over time. So this is steeper gradient, and then it bends. So now, you do not show these 2 points that you test. It's just to get you the graph shape, okay? So that's all for this logarithmic graph question.